how did Barstools get started? A lot of people in the UK, like, they don't really understand Barstool. They don't know what it is. So they were all asking me, ask them about that.
Yeah, so basically, I always knew I wanted to start my own thing. Like, I hated working for other people. So I had a sales job for about 7-8 years out of college, and it started, I like to bet. I like to gamble. So at the time, there's all these offshore, like, you couldn't bet in the United States, but there was all these offshore, like, sports books you could bet online. So I tried to get involved in gambling, and they all said they wanted to get off the internet, if that made any sense. It was a time where if you went on a gambling website, there'd be like fireworks, and it looked like you get your credit card information stolen. Yeah. It was that like junky. They're like, we want off the internet. If you create like a newspaper or something, we'll advertise. So that's what it was. It was a like 4-page newspaper in Boston, gambling, and I basically, I did it all myself. I had like fake names in there so people would know it was just me. Like, I'd be like, marketing, Joe Smith, and all this made up shit.
And it was all just you?
All just me doing it. I'd pick the newspaper up, and they have like, there's probably like free newspapers in Europe and stuff, like the Metro, right?
Yeah, exactly. Metro is a free newspaper.
Yeah, so we had that in Boston as well. That's what it was. It came out once a week. I'd go pick up all the newspapers. I'd have like a 48-hour paper route, drop them in all these news racks, put them in bars. Then I'd go home, call for advertising. I'd write all the articles, and that's how it started. And I did that, and we had the gambling. And it just kind of morphed slowly from like a newspaper to a website. One day, I used to wake up like 4 a.m, go to the subway stations and hand it out myself so people would take it. One day, a guy who took it, he's like, hey, I'm moving to New York. So I was in Boston. He's going to New York. He's like, if I built you a website, would you put the newspaper on the website? Because I love it and I'm not going to be able to read it anymore. Yeah. I'm like, dude, if you want to build me a free website, do it. Like, I'll do it. So he did. And he ended up being like a talented guy. And that's how the web version launched. Yeah. It was not a plan or anything. But once we went online, it was obvious that was our future because it started spreading. People from like other parts of the country would like email me and be like, this is sick. And slowly the newspaper got phased out and the website just kept growing. And it was all organic. Like, we never spent a dime on marketing. And eventually I found people who like still live, like Big Cat in Chicago, like Kevin in New York. We found other people and I hired them. So we tried to replicate what I was doing in Boston,
in other places,
in other cities. Yeah. It just slowly grew. And I did it from 2004 is when it started. And it kind of went to 2016. And I was doing great. More like I made more than, I just didn't want to wake up and hate my job. That's why I started it. And in 2016, we took investment, like a company in California, Chernin Group, reached out. They invested. I sold 50% of it. And then fast forward, and then it exploded. Like we all relocated. Previously, I was in Boston, Dan in Chicago, Kevin in New York. We all came to New York together. Thing blew up. And then Penn got involved 2021. And that was the next huge step. But that's the real abbreviated version. It's just been like organic. Right place, right time, right guy, a lot of lucky breaks, and just took advantage of a lot of things. And I mean, when we started, if people were like, what's a blog? People were like, I have no clue what that is. Like, it was that early. Yeah. So we just hit it. Right time, right everything.
Microsoft Windows.
Right. It was just, it was like Internet 1.0. Like, I've been around doing this, and it's almost 20 years. We're coming up on 20 years. So a lot of people may just find out about us, but we've been around forever. And at one point, like Boston, we were huge. We were like the biggest media thing there, but it was like an inside secret to Boston people. Yeah. And now it's kind of everywhere, U.S. and obviously with you and Molly, it's I got recognized, not like I do in the United States, but a lot of people coming up like in London and shit being like, hey, what's up, Dave? Shit like that. So it's crazy.